Hello, fellow fans. I'm Mark. With me is my co-host, the man I go higher, further, faster with, and also the best person to play Get Help with, Bryan. What up, Bryan?
Higher, further, faster, baby.
There you go. Welcome, everyone, to UWF on the Chip and Company Podcast Network. Oh, yeah. On this week's episode, Bryan and I are doing a special episode to review The Marvels, as well as Loki Season 2. All right, everybody. So grab your scepters, your stars, your flirkins, as United We Fan starts now.
All right, let's do this one last time.
Truth is, I am Iron Man.
Football is life.
I solemnly swear that I am up to no good.
X never, ever marks the spot.
Is Star Wars the one with the little wizard boy?
This is the way.
Avengers! Assemble.
Chills. Literal chills.
Hello, fans. Thank you all for uniting with us as we talk about all things fandom. Please give us a rate or review wherever you listen so we can unite with more fans out there on the Chip and Company Podcast Network. Follow UWF on Facebook, Instagram, X, Twitter, so you can have more fun with us out there. Bryan and I will be giving a non-spoiler review of The Marvels and Loki Season 2, followed by a spoiler. We are going to give you a nice warning beforehand. But first, Bryan, movies can begin filming again. The SAG strike is over.
Finally, it's over. So that was good news. That was really good news. I didn't think it was going to come as quick as it did because earlier in the week there was a lot of talk about studios still being hung up on AI generated images by taking a scan and then being able to do it like in perpetuity forever. And I don't think they really came to a resolution on that. So probably kick the can down the road on that one, but it came faster than expected, and more importantly, Marvel and everybody else is getting back to work.
Yes. I mean, the contract is only for 3 years, so...
Again, like the writers, this is customary. 3 years was to be expected. So
right. So we'll see how it goes, but I'm definitely glad. I was getting worried about all the movies being delayed. My poor Captain America 4 and so forth and so on, but... yeah, the strike's over. So yay!
So we can't put dates on those. Deadpool 3 now July 26th of 2024. Captain America 4 Valentine's Day of 25. Fantastic Four May of 25. Thunderbolts July 25th of 25. And for some reason they said Blade November 7th of 25. Blade's never going to come out.
I know. I was going to say Blade's having so much trouble. Bryan, which one are you most excited for out of all those?
Deadpool 3.
Which one are you most worried about?
Except for Blade, I don't know what New World Order is going to bring, or no, what's it called now? Brave New World. Harrison Ford as the Red Hulk, as fun as that could be. I didn't kill my
wife.
It could go sideways, but I trust in Harrison Ford. I mean, Thunderbolts. I hope that's where Star-Lord pops up next, and Fantastic Four has a lot of hype. So,
yep.
I mean, I have mild concern for all of them, and I have mild optimism for all of them. Again, except I don't think Blade is ever going to come out.
Yeah, I don't think it will.
But you know what I have no optimism about?
Feeling
Ooh, go ahead.
Aquaman 2 looks horrendous. There was a new trailer before the Marvels yesterday. It looks terrible. It looks so bad.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go see it. I'm hoping it surprises me. I mean, the first one did, so who's to say this one won't?
Yeah, but the first one, for me, at least had and I did give it a few weeks of positive word of mouth before I went and saw it for myself, but this one just looks tough.
We also got some new trailers for Ghostbusters, Inside Out 2, as well as the newest Planet of the Apes, which I didn't actually know we were getting a new Planet of the Apes movie, so that was a good surprise.
Inside Out 2, I'm excited. Mindy Kaling and Bill Hader not being in the cast is a bit of a bummer. Mark, what are your thoughts on Ghostbusters? Frozen, what was it called? Frozen Ghostbusters?
I was like, Elsa's back, and she's pissed. and she's letting it go on the Ghostbusters.
What is it actually called? Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. So it was
Frozen Ever After Empire.
Yeah.
It looked like a teaser preview that had to be made during an actor strike. Started out okay, but then just quick clips. Hey, we're going to show the Ghostbusters you love real quick and some of the new ones, and then Paul Rudd laughing and hope that does it for you. Yes, everyone, don't come at me. I know it's a teaser preview. I'm well aware what a teaser preview is.
It did do it for me. Paul Rudd just with that like cackle, like I was a fan.
I just remember the teaser preview for the one before it, and it was so good. But I'm not worried about it. I just think it was an okay teaser preview. So.
Yeah, I mean, at least it's a pretty original story. It's not like they're retelling Ghostbusters 2.
Right. I was kind of worried at first of, what are they talking about? Vigo? And what are they talking about at first? And I realized, nope, it's just a Frozen Ever After. So I know I'm going to try really hard not to run that joke into the ground. I apologize. I will let it go. Brian, I do have a hot take though.
Feeling hot.
All right.
I owed you
That's
that.
fair. Yeah, that's fair. That was a bad joke. That's fair. So yesterday I went to the Thursday screening of the Marvels at AMC, and of course, Brian, people clapped for Nicole Kidman and saluted her, and then the Dolby preview came on, and people did the Rocky Horror Live type thing for the Dolby commercial. I don't get it, but actually my hot take has to do to the gentleman that sat next to me that had the bazooka bubble gum.
Oh, good.
And decided
at least it was that kind of bazooka.
Huh?
At least it was that kind of bazooka. I was worried.
I know, that's true. It might have been Bubblicious. I don't know, but the guy who just, I don't feel bad at all for looking at you going, can you please stop smacking your gum?
You asked him to stop?
He was going on for a while. There was a courtesy period. And I said, please, sir, can you please stop smacking your gum? He's like, oh, no. And then I don't know if he just got back into the movie, but then all of a sudden, sir, no one wants to hear that. No one's here for you. This is not that loud of a movie. If you want to chew your gum during a movie, go to Michael Bay movies. That's where you chew gum during, okay? So anyways, that's my hot take. Please be aware of those around you if you're going to smack anything while you eat. So yeah.
Where do you get Bubblicious that lasts an hour and 45 minutes? Because there's nothing worse than gum without flavor.
Brian, he reloaded.
Oh, okay. Maybe it was Big League Chew.
No, I recognize the smell. I know what it was. He reloaded midway through. Of course, during the musical portion of something we're going to talk about is when I kind of gave it away, but whatever. During a very loud part of a movie, he decided not to chew during that. Heaven forbid you chew when the actual audio is really loud. So that's my hot take. I don't feel bad. I mean, listeners, let me know out there if you think I was in the wrong for saying anything. But I asked him nicely. I said, "Sir, can you please stop smacking your gum? Like it's pretty loud."
I am going to create imaging. Mark's weekly complaint about the audience at movies.
Hi, I'm Wilford Brimley. This is my complaint with young people.
I'm Wilford Brimley, and I'd like to talk to you for a few minutes about diabetes.
All right. Let's talk Marvels and Loki.
Brian did my gear this week. But yes, listeners, we're going to talk non-spoilers of Loki season 2. But first, we're going to talk non-spoilers of The Marvels. Just came out this week.
What did you think of The Marvels? I sent you a list broken down by things I loved, things I liked, things I didn't like, and things I hated.
There was nothing I hated. There was nothing I eye-rolled. Can't say the same about previous Marvel movies. I'm going to try really hard to focus on this and not vent about previous ones. There's
not a one thing you eye-rolled in that film. That's interesting.
I know. And you know me. I'm gonna have eye problems because I eye roll so much. I didn't eye roll. None of the lines bugged me. I know there was one word that triggered you, and friends, you're gonna hear Bryan talk about it. But the only thing that didn't really work for me was one, the villain. The character just was very weak. I, but that's fine. We can get away with a weak villain. We don't have to worry about it. But the actress Zaw Ashton, who played Darben, she is a brilliant actress. I've actually seen her on Broadway. She can act. I don't mean any disrespect for her. I'm going to go with it was the writing. They didn't really ask much of her, and I'm just going to go with that. But honestly, it was a weak villain and just a very under and then overacted performance. I guess I am coming after her, but I don't mean to. She did the best she could.
I'll have to take your word for it because I felt that she had absolutely no range whatsoever. She showed no emotion. I was not a fan of the villain. That being said, you know who I was an opposite feeling of? Iman Vellani.
Love her.
She is incredible as Kamala Khan.
Yep.
She nailed it. She nailed it in Miss Marvel. We already knew we liked her, but she held her own up against Brie Larson, who's an absolute powerhouse in today's world.
Academy Award winner Brie Larson.
Yeah, and Tiana Paris made her big screen debut as well, and she did a good job. Iman Vellani was fantastic. Everything around it, the story that it does set up, big fan. Goose the cat was an absolute waste of space, and that entire storyline was awful. But overall, I liked the movie. I wouldn't say I loved the movie, but I do think the rewatchability factor of this one is going to be higher than Captain Marvel 1.
Oh, see, I told people beforehand the first Captain Marvel has a high rewatch status with me. I enjoy it. Miss Marvel, you know me. I think it's my second favorite Disney Plus show. I love that show. I rewatch it a lot. Amon, if you ever want to come on the show, I will be so happy to talk to you about whatever. Please let us know at Chip and Company and United We Fan. And then I even said that Tiana Paris, her Monica Rambeau, was one of the better parts for me of WandaVision. And sadly, it was kind of underdeveloped. And so I was really excited for this movie. Overall, like you said, it's got a high rewatch state. I'm going to enjoy it. The music is good. The visuals are good. We saw in the preview, so it's not a spoiler. Iman's Miss Marvel costume, the new one they give her, I get why they gave her a new one because of what happens in the movie. We'll get to that later. So that was one thing that got erased from my annoyance list. But yeah, Darben annoyed me in the previews and did not get any better. But go see this movie. I say it reminded me of earlier, more entertaining phases of Marvel to where the world wasn't going to crash. We're not going to overload you with visual effects and substitute storyline. It felt like a Marvel Star Trek episode. So I enjoyed it.
It was evident there was a much longer film at one point in time. The pacing of it moved very, very quickly. You could tell, like, there was just not even time to breathe in between, like, clapbacks from Nick Fury. Like, he was the most witty and quick he's ever been.
Yes.
So there was clearly a lot of cut downs. It was an odd pacing. Overall, again, I liked it. I wouldn't say that I loved it.
Yeah. I enjoyed it more than, let's see, what else we got out there? Like Blue Beetle, definitely enjoyed it more than that. So, yep. I guess that covers. Bryan, would you give it 1 thumb, 2 thumbs, a half a thumb, half of 2 thumbs? I don't even know how you could do that.
I'd give it 1 thumbs up. I don't think I'd go 2.
I gave it 2, and how I usually rate it is in enjoyability. Am I making up a word? I don't know. 2 thumbs. I enjoyed it quite a bit. It has nothing to do with like quality or anything like that. I just rated on, did I enjoy it? Yep, I enjoyed it. 2 thumbs.
That's the Rotten Tomatoes standard.
Woo!
You know what else I enjoyed?
Mm.
Loki season 2.
More than season 1?
You know what else I can't explain? Loki season 2. Or Monica Rambeau's powers. I can't explain those either.
Yeah, touche.
Loki season 2, there were so many moving parts. We will talk a lot about those moving parts. Did I like it more than season 1? I did not. Because this one had, I think the way they pulled off the Jonathan Majors, He Who Remains reveal in the finale episode of season 1 was masterclass. Without talking spoilers yet, it still matters, but there was a lot of talking at you and not a lot of retention necessary in Loki season 2. Did it tell a compelling story? Yes. Did I enjoy it? Absolutely. I thought it was really well done, but man, it is nerdy.
For me, if I could combine season 1 and 2, and I think, all right, so both seasons combined are what, 12 episodes, right?
12 total episodes, 6 each.
Yeah. I think there are 6 great episodes if I could combine the 2 seasons.
I would call every episode this season great. I would say there's 10 great episodes in my opinion. I think there's 2 in season 1 that are not.
I think know which one was my least favorite. But yeah, this season I definitely enjoyed it more. Could it be because Sylvie was less in it? Yeah. I wasn't a big fan of her character in season 1. So, but we'll get to like, I'm trying not to get into spoilers, but I definitely enjoyed it, and I think it's one of the best non-anticlimactic finales of any of the Disney Plus shows. I like that it wasn't a big bang firework, that there was definitely a good story and resolution to it.
Kiwi Kwan as Ouroboros was the best part of season 2.
Agreed.
I think that's
But
all
sadly,
we can really say about talking without spoilers on Loki.
I know. Sadly, without spoiling, he had a huge presence and then kind of faded a little bit, but we'll get to that.
Final thing that I don't think is a spoiler. It's not renewed for a season 3. I don't expect a season 3 to ever happen. I think that was a series finale.
I really hope we don't get a season 3. I say don't mess with it.
It'd be really hard to explain a season 3, and that's what we can say without spoiling it.
I know. Would you be okay with a movie?
No.
A Loki movie?
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
I don't think we need it. All right, friends, that is our non-spoiler portion. So if your ears are sensitive and you haven't caught up to date and you don't want anything ruined for you, because Bryan and I will be, we're gonna talk it all. Here is your spoiler warning. You have been warned. Spoilers will be shared. Everything, The Marvels and Loki Season 2 will be discussed here on United We Fan Chip and Company Podcast Network.
After
all right, Bryan,
this commercial break.
Hey guys, Diz Life Mark here, and I want to tell you all about the official travel partner here at Chip and Company. Let our good friend Sarah at Destination to Travel help you plan your next Disney vacation. Sarah specializes in planning dream vacations for your family. She's an authorized Disney vacation planner, and she can help with every step of your magical vacation. The best thing is that her services are 100% free. Want to travel beyond Disney? Sarah has you covered there too. Want to find out more? Fill out a trip request form over at the website at Chip & Co. or email her directly at sarahsolberg@d2travel.com. Start planning that dream vacation today. Email her at sarahsolberg@d2travel.com.
All right, friends, welcome back to the spoiler edition of United We Fan reviews the Marvels. Bryan, can we start at the end? I really want to talk about the end scene of the Marvels, or do you want me to be patient?
The end scene of the film or the mid-credit scene?
The end scene of the film.
End scene of the film. Let's go for it.
Friends, there was a throwback to, it was kind of Spider-Man Far From Home with a hint of the first Iron Man with Nick Fury. And instead of Nick Fury being the person in the shadow to talk about a new initiative, it was Kamala Khan, Aman Vellani, Miss Marvel.
Where are you getting Spider-Man Far From Home vibes from it?
It was when he's sitting in the apartment and Peter Parker first meets Nick Fury.
Oh, and they shoot. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he's in the chair or whatever.
I only thought Iron Man 1 post-credit scene.
So anyways, but Bryan, who walks in for Miss Marvel to talk to?
Lucky the pizza dog.
I forgot about Lucky.
Kate Bishop. It was fantastic.
Kate Bishop.
You could see her bow through the door.
Yep.
She when she talks about, you thought you were the only teenager or something, and Kate Bishop's like, well, I'm 23. So it was so good to see Haley Steinfeld again. Young Avengers, they teased Cassie Lang being a part of it, but the Young Avengers, I am 100% in on that. Iman Vellani and Haley Steinfeld sharing the screen is going to be an absolute blast.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about Cassie Lang. But yes, I thought that scene was great. Everybody in my theater was all about it. It made them excited. That was something I feel like the previous Marvel movies were lacking, is something exciting to end the movie with, to give people a hope for the future.
When you say everybody in your theater, how full was your theater?
Bryan, my the first two showings at my Dolby Theater were sold out.
That's Orlando for you.
Yeah, that is Orlando.
There was 9 people. There was 9 people in my screening last night.
Hey, man.
I mean,
although I did laugh, walking to the theater, you could tell the Taylor Swift concert was playing in one theater, and people were just sitting outside of it, I think waiting for the Marvels to start, and they were having their little like Swiftie moments outside of it. But anyways, I want Iman Vellani to be a pillar of the Marvel future going forward. You know, everyone has said, oh, it's going to be Doctor Strange leading them. Oh, it's going to be Sam Wilson. Nope. I want Iman Vellani to be at the forefront of whatever. Like, I need her, and you can have a couple other people, but I need her to be like going forward. She was just perfect. That credit scene made me laugh. What did someone say? Oh my God. Kate, let me know your thoughts. I'm going to try to remember, but somebody did not shout out Kate Bishop when that door was about to open. They shouted out someone else, and it was pretty funny.
Yelena!
Oh my God. Yeah.
So, okay. So like I said, I broke it down into 4 categories that I sent you. Should I start in the negative and work my way to the positive?
Yes. We got to work our way from the negative to the positivity.
You are in a singing mood tonight. Okay, so we're talking about
Bryan, that's how I communicate. I'm also bilingual. We'll get to that.
Oh boy. That fell in my liked category, surprisingly enough. Passionately hate. In my non-spoiler review, I did not say anything glowing about Zah Ashton's Dar-Ben. She's not even in the passionately hate category. My passionately hate category, everything Flurkin related. It was so terribly forced, and it was just an excuse to put more cats in the movie. And having them eat all the people was funny for a minute, and then it got so super old. I wish that Kamala's first encounter with Goose when he eats those 2 guys had not been in the trailer, because that scene is still one of the funniest scenes in the entire film. But then those 2 guys actually getting thrown up in Jersey City in Kamala's living room and then having to do that battle leads to a really cool scene.
Yes.
But everything Flurkin related, so bad. Like the eggs being found and like thinking that it might be like somebody inside, and then it just turns out to be Flurkin. Like, no, I hated it. I hated it a lot.
I'm with you there. I feel like there was more 2 originally the story of the mysterious eggs.
I'm also not
and
a
then-
cat person, so maybe that's what it is too.
I love cats. Mew mew. I can totally see why you would say the Flurkins were a little forced in there. Like I said, I didn't have any problems. I didn't eye roll anything. I wasn't like, meh, that doesn't work for me. But I totally get your point. I thought it was funny, the Flurkins eating everyone. At first, I was just like, man, this comes off like a horror movie, which I think they're trying to do, but it also comes off comedic. I don't know how I feel about this. But yeah, I get where you're coming from with the Flurkins being forced. With Kamala, the scene in the preview, it was ruined by it. I think you lost a laugh moment, and then they trimmed it, so you couldn't even really linger on the laugh moment.
They trimmed everything, man.
Yeah. But then getting the fight scene in Kamala's parents' house, how they were coming in and out, that whole section was brilliant.
Really
and
cool.
I think they released it early, like trying to get people interested in the movie. They released that clip early. I didn't watch it, and I watched it in theater going, this is a great action scene. Very creative.
Not so well explained that I couldn't figure out why they were only sometimes changing places. Like I didn't catch on soon enough that they only change places when they use their powers at the exact same moment in time. Like I couldn't quite grasp that, but maybe that.
Is that what it is when they use it at the same time?
Correct. That was when they swap places.
Okay, I kept thinking about it. I'm going, all right, well, they're using it, but they're not swapping. Why aren't they swapping right now? Is it only sometimes?
It was only when they were using their powers simultaneously.
So that's why Carol told her, don't use your powers while they were saving the air planet.
Correct. Because then the second she used her powers, they swap places. I thought, okay, so that's my passionately hate. The other one, I expect I am the only one in the entire world to have this complaint. But I remember complaining about it during Miss Marvel too. When we're at the height of a battle and they're trying to take down the villain and they scream from across the room, just give me the bangle. I think the word bangle is just horribly utilized, and it's not a bangle. It's a cuff or something like that. Like the word bangle drives me up the freaking wall. And again, I expect I'm the only one to have this complaint. I don't care. Drives me nuts. Had to get it off my chest.
Audience, if you're listening and you're on Team Bryan on this, please send him some love and support, because I don't have his back on that.
Give us the bangle. No, doesn't
Bryan,
work.
give us the bangle. If she has both bangles, Bryan, did you watch last Sunday's football game with the Bengals?
Yeah, there we go. Exactly. Like Joe Burrow on one wrist, Jamar Chase on the other. What happened to the second bangle?
Oh,
if we're gonna call it that.
Captain Marvel had it on at the end of the movie.
She was wearing it? Okay, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, she was wearing it.
Because Kamala had them both, and then all of a sudden she just didn't. Okay, next category, dislike. The only thing I have in the dislike category is Darben. Not a gigantic fan, other than they use the term annihilator about once about every 14 seconds.
That triggered me. I was like, okay, we get it. Annihilator, stop. That's like in the second Halloween movie when they go, Halloween ends tonight. Yeah, we got it. Drop it.
Let's move up to the liked category. You talked about this. It was not drowned out by a man chewing his gum. The singing language on Aladdin, not Aladdin, but close. It was 99. It was 99.63% water.
Even though they didn't really show that in focus. I didn't really get that it was mainly a water planet.
Yeah, I think there was only that one strip of land, but the fact that she's married to him was funny. It all kind of worked for me. Her magically like changing into her cool dress,
that was great,
and her singing, like it wasn't for me, but I appreciated the creativity of it, and I was okay with it.
So I when watching the preview, I did not like their new costumes. I was very, very against it, especially Miss Marvel's new costume.
I think Carol's was not good. Not a fan.
But that's just it. After watching that episode, her dress, cute, and then them getting the new costumes, I'm like, all right, Miss Marvel and Captain Marvel's costumes are inspired by that planet. I dig it because it's just inspired by them. I don't think that's going to be, it better not be Miss Marvel's like permanent costume, but I dug it. The singing planet, I thought it was funny when they just started singing. I think the audience was Monica Rambeau and her response to it, but I laughed so hard when I looked at Iman just dancing as they're walking to the palace and like living her best life. And
Why
then
is
Monica
nobody
kind of gets
dancing?
into it. I thought it was the funniest thing ever. But did you catch in that scene that Monica's wearing the same Nine Inch Nails shirt that Captain Marvel was?
I did actually. Yeah, I did catch that.
Whatever, Brian. Couldn't you just let me have one? Anyways.
Dude, I had no idea. That's amazing.
Thank you. Appreciate it. So, but yes, I know a lot of people are fans of the Prince. I'm sorry, I don't know his name, the actor. And a couple of his fans walked out going, "Oh, he's only in it for like 2 minutes." Yeah, it's not his movie. But I will say, Mary, who's a listener of the show, brought up, we saw what happened to the air planet. We can assume that all the air was sucked out of it. Or most of it anyways. We never really got closure on the water planet on Waterworld. And they never really harped back to that. She was just like, no, I can't let it happen to this planet as well. And they time jump. It's warped.
It's Park Seo-joon. I know I'm not pronouncing that correctly, but he's the kid in Parasite. That's what he's from.
I love that movie. Best Picture winner and absolutely deserved it.
Yeah, that movie rules.
So
I'm with you. I think we're supposed to operate under the assumption that they have enough water to spare, that they're probably fine. I don't know.
I mean, she didn't look that worried about it, so I guess we're supposed to assume that. We're going to go with it.
I helped him with legal troubles. That was funny. Something else that I like the premise of, that I actually have not passed your way. I like the premise of, and for this movie to have ignored Secret Invasion altogether, well done. We don't need to approach Secret Invasion, and probably timeline wise, this movie came out before this all happened before Secret Invasion. With Valkyrie swinging by on the Bifrost to pick up the scrolls and take them back to New Asgard. I like that. I like the premise of that.
It was nice. It was quick. I didn't need anything else. Her making her little joke about she's been on some interesting teams herself. I was good with all that.
Maybe a couple in the future. Who knows?
Yeah. Well,
they teased that,
I mean, you brought up Secret Invasion. I'm glad it didn't get brought up. Like you said, the movie was supposed to come out before it, and of course, we're still adjusting everything. Secret Invasion is the worst thing in the MCU, and that's someone who defended Inhumans. So I'm glad they didn't bring it up. I'm glad Nick Fury isn't dealing with anything. But that also brings up a good point. I had a couple people ask, "Hey, I haven't seen Miss Marvel. Am I going to be lost?" They did a great job of letting you know who she is. I love her introduction in the movie. Is similar to the show where she's doing like her doodling and animating and fangirling. So hopefully that gets people into the show. So I think they did a great job of letting you know, hey, this is her character, who she is. And even if you hadn't seen Captain Marvel, they did a great job of kind of recapping the first movie and even expanding on her promise at the end of the first movie. And then Monica gave you a quick summary, and we even saw some clips to let you know what happened to her in WandaVision. So I think they did a great job of catching everyone up. You're not going to be lost.
I also enjoyed Monica's family kind of being around. I do think that her dad was kind of a breakout star of the show and has had some stuff said.
Monica's family?
Did I say Monica's family? Kamala's family. Monica's family does make an appearance. We'll talk about that in a minute.
We'll get to that, yeah.
But Kamala's family kind of being a part of it. I think her dad probably had a bigger role at some point, and the way everything went down with him in the news, I just think a lot of him was cut back, and her mom kind of took the forefront there.
Which is I'm fine with. I was going to ask you kind of off the air, did that get cleared up? Because they still gave him plenty of screen time, but then, Jonathan Majors would get into that, still got plenty of screen time, so they're kind of rolling with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, I think everything was just filmed, and I just think they ran with it. And okay, and then let's get into the things I loved. Like straight up, told you I loved them. Everything that involved Iman Vellani, Kamala Khan. Everything was fantastic. When she watched Carol blow up all those ships and then just sit in her seat and say, "Oh, Captain, my Captain," I died. The montage of them learning how to use their power switching to their advantage while they were on that ship and tossing food in the air and then catching it in each other's mouths and doing the jump rope. That scene was an absolute blast. I loved that scene.
I loved when Monica's like, all right, go. You could just tell that was one of probably the most fun they had on set that day.
I can't believe they didn't nail down the name Photon for Monica in this movie.
So Mary, who's one of our listeners, messaged me saying, "Hey, did they ever actually say Photon?" And I said, I know Kamala was going over names, but they never actually said Photon, right?
She's but Photon was Maria's call sign.
Oh, okay.
So she's going to be Photon eventually. If for no other reason, in the comics, she's either Spectrum or Photon, and they did throw out Spectrum, to which she declined. Yeah. So it's going to be Photon. I just can't believe we never tied the bow on that.
It's sad she turned down Professor Marvel.
Is it?
No, I thought it was funny though.
Okay. They do say the term "the Marvels" multiple times in this film, so I'm waiting for the TikToks that a movie ends when the title gets said. That's going to eventually happen. And Kamala's scarf. We got the sash. That's part of the new costume from this planet. I thought that was a lot of fun. And the other thing I loved, the mid-credits scene. Is it time?
Not yet. Let's go back to Monica because we brought up the family. I love that they gave a chance to go into Carol's backstory with her actually visiting her mom. A lot of people were like, "Oh, Carol never came back at all."
Well, but in all fairness, when she did visit Maria, it was still 29 years later.
Well, so she went back to visit her during the treatment and all that, talking about the flirkin, having to take care of it, and still seeing her. Now, yes, she didn't really. It was a somewhat weakish reason for why she didn't go back to see Monica because she was trying to fix things. But I like that they went back to kind of say, yeah, she came back to visit Monica's mom. They talked. I really liked that.
And it really brought back home Maria still having trust in Carol and the Avengers that eventually one day Monica was going to come back. I thought that was really a nice way to add that into when Monica comes back from the blip.
Yeah. And I think them going through their memories and all that was great too, because it also, for those people who hadn't seen WandaVision, could see, oh yeah, Monica blipped and came back and relived that moment.
I can't imagine that there's a lot of people seeing this movie that haven't watched WandaVision.
I think WandaVision and Loki are the safest bets of MCU shows that people have seen that you don't have to worry about.
Certainly. WandaVision it came out when Marvel still had its reputation.
Yes.
So I think most people have seen WandaVision, but not a lot of people put two and two together, even with WandaVision, that she was Lieutenant Trouble. So I think
it's Captain Trouble now.
Yeah. No, I thought Monica was good. I thought all three of them were good. They all played well off of each other. I just think this film really struggles from a very weak Ronan's dead, so let's find another Ronan not near as good Lee Pace Ronan.
That's what irked me is Thor Love and Thunder. Great villain, not a great movie. The Marvels, really good, fun movie with a weak villain. We need to get some good villains back into these Marvel movies. Shang-Chi had a great villain. The Eternals.
Quantumania had a good villain.
He got beat up by ants.
He was still.
I love when everyone gets upset about that. Your big bad got beat up by ants.
He was still.
Bryan, did you ever read the Scott Lang book?
No.
I really wanted to, and that movie derailed me. I'm getting derailed now.
Oh, I'll watch it. I'll eventually get to it.
Yeah. Bryan, where does this movie rank? Is in your top half or bottom half of MCU movies?
It's still going to be bottom half if I have to.
Yeah.
If I have to guess right now, like I wouldn't. It's not bottom 5, but it's not top.
Yeah.
It's not top 15 either.
Yeah, it's bottom half, which is not saying a bad thing. There's a lot of Marvel movies, and there's a lot of really good Marvel movies. Brian, do you wish this would have been a Disney Plus show instead of a movie?
No.
Yeah, I saw some people saying it clearly should have been a Disney Plus movie, and I said, "What are you talking about? Oh, it could have easily been a series." No, I think it just needed to be a 2-hour movie, and it would have been just fine instead of an hour and 45-minute movie. So,
yeah, they trimmed a little too much, but I mean,
yeah,
it is what it is.
But yeah, overall we liked it though. We enjoyed it. I'm gonna go see it again. And I hope others go into it with open mind. For those who have been disappointed with recent Marvel movies, please go check it out. It will bring you back to the fun times of like phase 1 and phase 2.
Yeah, it's far from perfect. But I would say I enjoyed it more than the first one. And I like the first one. I enjoyed it more than the first one simply because of the presence of Kamala Khan.
Love her. I love Miss Marvel.
Let's talk real quick about Binary and Beast. Kelsey Grammer is back. He's not only redoing Frasier, he's also replaying Beast.
Tossed salad and scrambled eggs. Oh, nice.
So now we're getting a hint as to how they're going to introduce the X-Men potentially. Does this mean Monica Rambeau shows up in Deadpool 3?
Yes.
You think so?
Yeah.
She might. I don't want to pick up the entire Fox universe and just merge it. No. I want to start from scratch.
Yep.
And I don't know what this means.
Kelsey Grammer is a great Beast. Clearly, they didn't want to spend the money on putting him in makeup like they did in Last Stand.
Not great CGI.
It was CGI Beast, and I hate to say it, but I don't think it was a planned credit scene all along. I think that could be why it looked the way it did. I love how the scene went from Monica being happy to seeing her mom to just afterwards, all right, let's figure out who you are.
Yeah.
Like it ended on a funny comedic moment. I think I was just happy to have a credit scene that now, in the previous phases, they led to something. This one, does it lead to something? We hope so. But even if it doesn't, at least it was a good credit scene. Brian, I can't even tell you the credit scene for Love and Thunder or Quantumania.
Quantumania had the Council of Kangs and all the.
Oh yeah.
Love and Thunder. I can't remember either at the moment. But no, so the character Binary is in the comic books. When Rogue attacked Carol Danvers, she basically had a weakened power set, and she was this character known as Binary. So she's kind of got Captain Marvel light powers. She would never appeared in any of the X-Men films, which is how they could have Maria Rambeau show up as a variant of some sort as Binary. She could be that universe's version of Carol Danvers. She could even be named Carol Danvers for all we know. We don't know for sure that she's Binary, but it's what makes the most sense. So I'm waiting for the fanboys to be like, all the Doctor Stranges look alike, but all the Peter Parkers don't, and all the Rambos or one's Captain. Okay. And she could be still Maria Rambeau. I really don't know, but she could still be their version of Captain Marvel, which we already saw in Earth 838 in that movie that no longer exists. But anyway, the potential's there. It was fun. It was cool to see Beast. I love that character. So I still hope we introduce the X-Men to the MCU proper from quote unquote from scratch. I don't want to just pick up old movies and quote unquote make, again, I said it twice in a row, make them count. I don't want them to bring all the baggage with them.
Yeah, we already learned that from the Flash movie. So I think
Deadpool can bring the baggage because he'll make fun of it.
Yes. We've already seen that in some of the picks. So,
all right. Give me just a sec. I got to take this phone call. So throw it to a commercial, and then when I come back, we'll be good.
okay. All right, friends, that takes care of the Marvels we gave you earlier on our non-spoiler review, followed by our non-spoiler review of Loki Season 2, and then we went straight into spoiler territory for the Marvels. Now, we're going to go to commercial break, but after that, it's going to be Loki Season 2. Spoilers are ahead.
Is Disney World home to you? Realtor Victor Naraki can help make it a reality. Realtor Victor Naraki specializes in making your Disney home dreams come true. Second homes, investment homes, retirement, relocation. With Victor's input, he will show you the home opportunities that you don't get to see as a tourist. Imagine being at the park in minutes, walking around the World Showcase for daily exercise, watching the fireworks in your own backyard, or having Disney Springs as your local mall. Have you ever heard of Windermere, Winter Garden, Horizon West, Dr. Phillips, Claremont, Lake Nona, or Disney's own Celebration and Golden Oak? Victor will introduce you to these communities, which are just minutes to the magic. Stop imagining a Disney life and start living your dream today. Call Victor at 407-340-9375. And don't forget to mention that you heard all about Victor here on the Chip and Company Podcast Network. Head over to celebratingflorida.com and start living your magical life today.
All right, friends, back from commercial. Thank you for being with us. Now, a reminder, this is spoilers. There will be spoilers. This is spoiler territory. We are entering the kingdom of spoilers. Loki Season 2. If you didn't know, spoilers are ahead. Bryan, Loki Season 2, I think it was a stronger season than Season 1. I think it has the best finale of all the MCU shows because we didn't get another big baddie, big fight, anticlimactic storyline. That was a beautiful Shakespearean ending. The filmmaker said we're going to make think of it as a book. We have the first half of the book with Season 1, second half of the book, and that's our completed story. I think it's there. I can't wait. Loki, it took me a while to revisit Season 1. I can't wait to revisit Season 1 into Season 2 to see the complete journey. I think it's going to improve it a lot for me. And yay, there was less Sylvie.
I didn't dislike Sylvie in Season 1. I didn't care for her. She was really grating on me in Season 2, what we did deal with. She was just kind of always around without it ever being explained. Not enough Mobius and Loki conversation in Season 2. Again, I said it, Kiwi Kwan as OB was the absolute best part of Season 2. Followed shortly thereafter by Victor Timely. I thought he was a lot of fun. Watching him get spaghettified over and over was funny. It was very Dormammu I've come to bargain level in the finale.
Even his variant. I went on about how his speech patterns just did not work with me. Even his variant had comments about it. And I don't mean anyone who has any stutters or anything like that. Please, no, I'm not talking about that. I just didn't like Jonathan Majors' choices for his character, Victor Timely, and I was on not Modoc's. What's his variant's name? I was on his side when he was talking about Timely and his
again, it's a problem how much I love Jonathan Majors. Did this show leave the MCU in a place where they could potentially move on without him? Sure, I guess.
Yeah.
What was this series looking to accomplish? Throughout the comics over the last decade, Loki has made the shift from God of Mischief to God of Stories. He literally became a storyteller where he could insert himself in a very meta way into a story and literally change it. Is that what he's going to do as He Who Remains? Now the sacred timeline is more of a tree? My wife was comparing it to my wife was comparing it to Magnus Chase, where people can climb the tree and visit different branches, stuff like that. Like that's what my wife and it deals with Norse gods. Like she thinks like she's definitely onto something, that there is a lot of comparison, and they were pulling this from Norwegian mythology. This
I love
is
Magnus Chase, by the way.
This is going to be spoiler heavily, specifically upon the last episode, because hey, it just aired, it just came out. Please watch all 6 episodes. I do think the show was very guilty in season 2 of talking at you and not talking with you. I think it just put so much scientific mumbo jumbo all together that they didn't want you to necessarily understand it. They just wanted you to take it at face value and go for it. I thought that the gag of how long is it going to take you to teach me everything you need to know about this? It's going to take decades, even centuries. And then we just get a title card that just says centuries later. Like, you're feeling for Loki and how long he's been at this. Like, he busts into the conference room and Miss Minutes just blinks at him. Like, super funny stuff. The way they pulled it all off, it was so fun. But they don't ever explain how Loki could walk down the gangway and save everything. They don't ever fully explain how he got a grasp on his time slipping.
Right.
But do I care? I don't think I do. Do you? Do you? So you can't necessarily explain everything either, I'm assuming.
No.
I'm not insulting your intelligence by saying that.
No. Bryan, we all know you're the man, and you're the guy in the chair. You're the one who's got to explain it to our listeners. I go to you for answers. No, I don't have those explanations. I can't even honestly tell you, like, explain to you the ending of all the vines connecting to Loki's like cape there and him bringing them all into his own realm. I can't even fully explain that.
But how cool did it look?
It looked great. The tree at the end, I loved the symbolism in that, him getting his throne finally. I loved that. But no, I can't explain it. And I have to own up to something. And now a lot of critics, a lot of nerds won't ever admit when they're wrong or something has been improved on. I, for the longest time after season 1, said Sylvie just wrecked everything without thinking about the consequences, and no one is bringing up how she wrecked everything and just said, screw it, I don't care if everything just burns to the ground. And then in this season, Loki goes back, he's like trying to fix it. Okay, we got to get, this is how it works, don't put the piece down. Nope, that's not working. Okay, I'm going to go back to when Sylvie was trying to kill what is it? He Who Remains?
HWR.
Trying to kill him, and he goes, I've got to kill her. Like, that's the only way, like, for this to work. And I go, see, everyone? She was the problem. Hi. She's the problem. It's her. And then Loki has a debate and discussions and has to look deep, and looking at it, and just his thoughts into it made me realize, man, Loki showed me that Sylvie wasn't the problem, and just really helped me appreciate and understand it better. Now, the Sylvie character in the first season still at times bugs me, but at least I'm not walking away going, oh my God, we all need to be mad at her for just throwing everything out of whack. But so I apologize, and to the writers and filmmakers, you improved it. So thank you.
I was happy to revisit that season 1 finale with He Who Remains and the conversation, because I think I still think that is actually my favorite portrayal of King the Conqueror in any of his variants is He Who Remains. I think that's my favorite portrayal of Jonathan Majors, of that character. I just think his weirdness and his control of the situation was fun to watch.
That scene where him and Loki are discussing pausing time and options and all that was a great scene that once again made me irked that Jonathan Majors is in the situation he's in, because more scenes like that could be great.
But if Loki is now the god of stories, can he potentially write him out of everything? We did see the one scene of the book not coming through the window. You know who they did not do a good job with in season 2, as well done as season 2 was Renslayer. I thought that was really anticlimactic. She was very not utilized at all.
No.
I'm glad they're bringing Miss Minutes back online. I found it interesting that B-15 Mobius, Casey all got to keep their memories of everything, and nobody else in the TVA really had a memory of anything.
Yeah.
I'm cool with it. It's kind of how the entire TVA ran in the first place. So like I'm okay with it. But even Renslayer thought the timekeepers were real. But Mobius going back to the timeline when he actually exists and has two boys, like I don't understand how that works. Why was Sylvie even there? Mobius didn't care about Sylvie. Like, so I don't understand that. I wanted it to go out like that scene from Tiger King of the big guy on the jet ski. I needed to see Mobius on the water on a jet ski, and it didn't happen.
I agree with you. That scene didn't work for me. Like, I get the sentiment. It was nice, but it didn't work for me just as much. So the first episode, the one TVA soldier guy who ended up going to a different world to be a movie star, I didn't realize that was the same guy at first. And in the first episode, I go, man, this extra is overacting and he's not working for me. And then he went to the next realm and became the movie star. And I realized, oh, that's the same guy. So his character improved with me. So
yeah, Ben.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Is he like a big part in season 1? Did I just forget him?
No, I don't think he was in season 1 at all.
Okay. They kind of just ran with him like, oh, you don't remember him from season 1? I was just like, nope.
Him being the only one, like Miss Minutes killing all those people was deranged. I mean, I kind of enjoyed it, like in a weird way.
I had nightmares when she put her face on the mannequin.
There is a character, Jocasta, who is basically an AI. It's kind of like a female version of Vision to an extent for my lack of comic knowledge, but I really thought we were headed to a world where Miss Minutes was going to gain a physical form so she could be with He Who Remains or whomever she chose. But I don't know, man. Like, but ultimately people are jumping to conclusions that now Loki can insert himself in any story and we're going to deal with Loki all over the place. I don't think so, man. Like, I genuinely think this ties a bow on his story and he gets to be He Who Remains, and it just is what it is. Like, I don't think a season 3 would make sense. I don't think him inserting himself maybe into the Kang Dynasty Avengers film, sure, but into Secret Wars, anything like that, it wouldn't make any sense in the world to me.
Do you want Thor and him to have one moment, or do you think no?
No, I think we had our moment. It was the get help scene. It was the elevator scene, and we had their closure, and then they had the conversation on the ship at the end of Ragnarok. I think those two had their scene. Now you could say that this version of Loki never technically had that because he was captured by the Avengers in 2012, and then he never got that closure with Thor, but Thor got his closure. I think that's all that mattered.
No, God, I don't even want to think about that. But I guess now he can insert himself back into that, right?
I mean, he can technically. He can do whatever he wants now, but I don't think
that's how he completes that loophole, is just he inserts himself back into it.
Ultimately, I think season 2 was really well done. I think it was well thought out. I just think there was a lot that you were asking your audience to buy into and without any real understanding. And for the most part, I think it worked. I think they got everything they wanted to from the audience. I think a lot of people are eating this show up, even though viewership is down from season 2 compared to season 1.
I think it's a smart move that Marvel is going to get showrunners and try to run their shows with better budgets, better storytelling. I think this show was one of the rare exceptions where it worked what they did, but going forward, I think future Marvel shows are going to benefit from having a showrunner. I was not a fan that it was Thursday nights. I don't understand why you'd put that like when kind of new movies come out Thursday nights.
Especially when your own studio has its own movie.
I know, it's true. I would like it to go back. Now, granted, I was worried at first. Oh, God, you're going to have the Marvels, and then you're going to have Loki. What if one of them is bad? Oh, I think I know which one's going to be bad. But going from the Marvels, being happy and enjoying the movie a lot, to going home and watching Loki and then watching again right after, that was a great Marvel night for me.
Yeah, it's a good night. Speaking of Marvel nights, we didn't talk about it. Marvel Spotlight. Has a trailer changed your anticipation for a series any more than the Echo trailer? What'd you think of the trailer?
It was okay. Started off very gritty. I'm like, all right, that's like Netflix Marvel starting off right there. Okay, let's do this.
I think it's going to be Netflix level. It is TVMA, so
yeah. I Marvel shows kind of need to win my trust back a little bit more. That if they're not named Loki, it didn't improve, but it didn't also make it worse. I'm gonna watch it either way.
I'm more optimistic about it. I still think it has its problems. It's only 5 episodes. It's got the Marvel spotlight on it. I liked it. Going back to Loki, final thing, what did you make of the playing the Marvel Studios intro backwards? That was kind of fun.
So, Brian, I've gotten kind of burned out on the Marvel intros and thinking, especially with the shows, they need to shorten it or do something different. I thought that was great. And then shout out to the Marvel's intro. It started off just like your typical Marvel Studios, but then they went more heavier, leaning into the Marvels, putting in the 3 of them into the clips more. And I loved that. Mm-hmm. I go back and watch early 2000 Marvels where they changed the comic book flippings to the comics of the movie you're about to watch. I loved that. So I hope they do that with more of the characters influencing the intro.
Yeah, I think the more characters you have, the more films you have. I think that's gonna be pretty normal. I would expect. But yeah, I have nothing.
The
else
intro
to say.
for Loki got me pumped.
Good week for Marvel. I enjoyed it.
Highly recommend that you check out the scores for both Loki season 2 and the Marvels. The film music nerd in me enjoyed both scores. All right, friends. Well, that concludes this non-spoiler and spoiler review of The Marvels and Loki Season 2. We thank you, fellow fans, for uniting with us. For those listeners who want to get in touch with the show, please do so and give us a rate or review on the Chip and Company Podcast Network. That way we can unite with more fans out there. Till we unite again, fans, Bryan, higher, further.
For all time.
No, what? No, Bryan.
Always.
Don't hesitate to let us know how